It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups.
Good morning. Welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors, and it's great to have you with us this Sunday morning.
Good morning, Gene. How are you?
Hi, Tony. I'm great. Say, let me ask you a question. What does a delinquent water bill, a rogue homeowner, and a beaver named Cubby all have in common?
I don't know, but will you please tell us?
Yes, I will. Folks, those are going to be all topics for discussion on today's show.
All right.
So you want to make sure that you gather the family around.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about Cubby shortly here. It's good to have you with us, folks. Let's, without further ado, get into our first story with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need to get rid of unwanted pests in your home or rental property, call someone who's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. Give owner Greg Keener a call at 952-894-9748. That's Pest Control Services. Well, our first story today is about a cute little beaver named Cubby. And so we've got a clip from KCRA Channel 3 News in Sacramento, California. Eric, roll the clip.
Tonight, critter concerns in one El Dorado Hills neighborhood. They're dealing with a problem other communities have seen. We're talking about beavers here. The night team's Chris Riva now with how the animals have left one neighborhood divided.
In El Dorado Hills, Four Seasons is an active adult community, nestled in the rolling hills with flowing creeks and wildlife. The neighbors here are close.
They're my best friends.
Residents are also getting friendly with a new neighbor, a beaver they've named Cubby.
He came in probably because we're a pretty nice neighborhood. We've enjoyed living here. He's in our backyard, as a matter of fact.
Cubby's work is everywhere, down trees.
You can see it's right there, that's down.
Even a couple of dams. But not everybody is impressed.
I haven't heard any good things about beavers.
Monty Noya's backyard is right up against Grassy Creek. She thinks Cubby should go.
They're cute, fun to look at, but too destructive to keep in the backyard.
The Homeowners Association agrees, so they voted to eradicate Cubby.
Live and let live.
That decision is splitting the community.
Save the beaver!
Well, I think this area needs some more wildlife intrusion, and I think we can live together.
But the fact of the matter is, in California, beaver is not a protected species. You don't even need a permit to kill it. You just need a hunting license.
In Elk Grove, they eradicated in 2007 51 beavers. Now they're back again and more than ever.
Hopefully we'll all live happily ever after, regardless of whether the beaver goes or stays.
In El Dorado Hills, Chris Riva, KCRA 3 Night Team.
Well, there are some folks that are divided on a subject, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and I understand the conflict and understand the difficulty in figuring out what to do. It's fun to look at these critters, and in fact, a beaver building a dam is really kind of fascinating.
Oh, I'm sure. We up at our cabin, we've got a area where the water comes in from another body of water, and we've got beavers that constantly are damming things up.
Oh, it's like an inlet or something between two bodies of water?
And so water continues to grow, and so they end up having to kill the beavers, and they end up tearing down the dam and letting things to go again.
I have to say, from a property manager's point of view, however, a beaver in the neighborhood would be of great concern to me. I've seen what they can do, too. Yeah. My brother's property up in the Arrowhead, tiny creek running through it, but a beaver family took hold of it, and before too long, they had a 50-foot wide dam and a pond, a half-acre pond back there. In a community of homes, you're in real danger of damaging property if you're backing up water like that.
Oh, yeah. I think this whole debate that these folks are having over this whole thing can be distilled down to one word, and that would be anthropomorphism.
I happen to know what that is.
Yes, and for our listeners who don't, that's we're talking about attributing human traits, maybe a name like Cubby, to another animal.
An inhuman object. Yeah.
We do that all the time. We do that with our pets.
Yep, absolutely.
And so I certainly can understand that. But yes, you're probably dealing with some other issues here. One thing for those that probably think, oh, no, you should not kill anything at any time. One of the, arguments that we've heard from wildlife management is just that we're talking about what's in the best interest for that species to be able to do well in any given area. And that involves management of that species. And sometimes, well, we've seen it here in Minnesota, haven't we, with deer population. Some people don't like to see deer shot and killed. But if you didn't deal with that in the Twin Cities, you would have in the long run, a lot more deer that would be starving because there wouldn't be enough food.
True.
You would have increased accidents or other things that...
it's no joke, is it, if you hit a deer with your vehicle?
No. And so the same thing here, too. That clip, if the folks could have seen it, they would have seen a very elaborate network of lodges and dams put together in putting this in backing up water that was beginning to seriously encroach a lot of homes.
Cubby and perhaps his family had been there for quite a while, it sounds like.
Yeah, going back and forth. Yeah.
I see. Wow.
Now, one of the arguments that one guy said here, he said, well, they tried it in Elk Grove. He said they tried eradicating the beaver, but it didn't work. And, I was thinking about the logic of that statement. Do you do something just once? Would that be the same as saying, well, we just tried cutting the grass once, and it didn't work. It just kept on growing, so we just let it go.
So we had to cut it again and again. Yeah. Yeah, good point. What is the specifics that would indicate it worked or didn't work?
And so here again, it's not to make light of those that feel very strongly about animal concerns. I don't think anybody wants to see animals harmed if they don't have to be. But I think we do have a responsibility in managing wildlife, and I think there's probably a number of things that could be done. For example, with this association, one thing that they may want to try would be having the association to capture at least a few of them and be able to make sure that they're relocated somewhere else, far enough away where they're not going to come back, and then take care of eradicating the others in the area. Because one of the things that came to mind here in this story was this is something that's happened only the last few years that they've dealt with, but the association's been there for like 15 to 20.
Oh, so has something changed within the community that's made it more desirable to beavers? Who knows?
Yeah, you're right. It makes you think that there might be some other things that they need to take a look at to really get at the root.
It occurred to me that maybe the long-term solution would include changing the landscaping or changing the grounds in this community so that it doesn't attract this type of wildlife. That might be part of the long-term solution.
Yeah. But, part of it is, too, people like to have their homes in wildlife, too. And so if you're going to do that, you got to realize that you're going to be battling. The idea of some people to think that you shouldn't have to deal with problems like this, you're going to anytime you want to enjoy nature.
That's right. That's right. I guess you maybe should choose to buy elsewhere. Like perhaps a high-rise downtown.
Yes. But in this case, it looks like overall, people were probably pretty good-natured.
It sounded that way, didn't it?
Yeah, no, this wasn't anybody just really up in arms over something, but something that they had to deal with.
Yeah.
And so, Cubby, we hope you and your family can actually move on and go through a animal relocation witness program. Maybe rename him Chubby or something.
There you go, an alias.
That's right. Well, that's property management in the news, and that was brought to you by Pest Control Services. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, a lot more of Where You Live with Gene and Tony.